please do so. And again, tonight's session is info by Vita and building small business credit. So, small business credit. So normally, when you start a business and you are trying to establish the business, sometimes we run into issues or concerns with money. We need money. We need money to fund the business. We need money for expenses, operating expenses, unforeseen circumstances that happen with the business. You need money for that. You just need money to run a business. So sometimes you don't have the money saved up, so there are other options. So of course we go to small business lending and credit. So the first thing with establishing a business, a lot of people think, oh, well, when I start a business and I want to establish credit, I have a new business tax ID number or employer identification number. And because this is a new business and I have a new EIN number, I can just go apply and just start building business credit. That is a myth. You can, but will you be approved is the question. So the goal is when you're applying for anything to be approved for it. So when you're establishing a business for the first time and you need a line of credit or some form of lending, the most important part with establishing business credit is that you have your personal credit in order, right? So if you don't have great credit personally, then more than likely the approval process of you being approved for a credit card, a line of credit in the business name, you probably won't get approved. The reason being is because if you think about it, you are the person that's managing the business line of credit if you're approved. So if you don't know how to manage your personal credit, then how can you actually manage small business credit? So that's what the lenders are looking at when they approve you. So what they're called is a personal guarantor. That means that you are the person that is applying for a line of credit on the behalf of the business to utilize it for the business. So you are the person that's personally saying that I will manage this line of credit. I will conduct business on behalf of the business and utilize this credit for it. And so I'm held accountable for it, right? All right. So you apply for a credit card. So and just to give you my history, I used to be a banking center manager. So one of the things that I did as far as managing the banking center is we process a lot of applications for small business owners, credit cards, small business loans. We have operating lines of credits and loans that we will operate, process. You have credits that attach to the checking account, which is a line of credit on a checking account for overdraft protection for paying payroll employees. So you have a number of things that we process credit applications for, right? So you come in, you apply. So let's say you have pretty good credit. Let's say you're anywhere between a 650, 720 credit score, right? You walk into the bank and you established your business. So you went and registered the business with the state, which we talked about last week, articles of organization, articles of incorporation, depending on what type of business you start. And then once you register the business, you have that EIN number. We also talked about going over to irs.gov and establishing your tax ID number, right? Or your employer identification number. So you have those two pieces, and now you walk into a bank. Guess what? With those two pieces, of course, your personal identification, and you could actually open up a business account. So in the process of opening up a business account with those documents, we interview you. We ask you a series of questions. What's the purpose for the business? How long have you started it? What's your plan? How much you have saved? Those are the relationship building process that we do with small business owners. And then of course, the first, what we want the fruit. So the fruit is we want to deepen your relationship. So we ask you, do you have any small business credit? So your first mindset is, no, I just started this business today. I literally just got my paperwork. I'm not established yet. I know I can't get it. Well, guess what? If your credit score is anywhere between 640 and 700, 720, and you have your EIN number and you have your tax ID number, guess what? More than likely, you could get approved same day for a small business line of credit card. Because small business lending and small business credit, they're a little bit different. Usually on the lending end, you're borrowing more. On a small business credit card, it's usually less. But I will say I've had some people who came in, applied, and got approved $50,000 line of credit based off of their personal credit, and they just opened and established their business the same day. So never believe the myth that you can't establish, small business credit when you first open a business. Again, it's honestly on how does your personal life look? How have you managed your personal credit, right? So that's one myth that we're gonna go ahead and say. So if you know that you have pretty good credit and you're out there, you're trying to open a business and start a business, stop. What I'm trying to say. I am trying to say stop being your own defeat. Stop being the person that's saying I can't do it or I don't know because you don't know the information. You'll be surprised of how much things that you can do based on your personal, credit and how you've operated your personal finances when it comes to opening a business. All right, so in reference to personal credit, of course, in order for you to find out, there are ways that you can find out where your credit is, what's your score, what's on your credit report. And these ways are free ways. These are things that you can do that you're not paying anyone for. So I know everyone have heard of Credit Karma, right? Credit Karma is a free app where you log in, you create a user ID and password. You put in, you have to answer credit questions. So you have to answer questions pertaining to you that you should know. So some of those questions that you would answer is, within the last 5 years, have you lived at this address? You should know where you've lived in the last 5 years. Or if you have a mortgage, you should know if you had a mortgage within the last 5 years. And if you haven't, it's okay to say, no, this isn't me. Because some of those questions that they ask you when creating a Credit Karma account may be things that aren't pertaining to you, but that doesn't mean that something is wrong and someone has stolen my identity. They're trying to make sure you're who you are. So they are going to throw some questions in there that, you never owned a home, so you shouldn't be selecting, I have a mortgage with First Mortgage if you never owned a home. So those are important. So once you get the Credit Karma account, it normally gives you 2 credit score ratings. It'll pull your credit report. And Drea, what's the ratings? Is it TransUnion and Equifax or Experian?
As far as what?
For Credit Karma.
It's just TransUnion and Equifax. They
Okay.
Experian.
Okay. So with Credit Karma, you can get TransUnion and Equifax credit scores. The other neat thing about Credit Karma is not only do you receive your credit scores, you also receive what's on your credit report, what's derogatory on your report. You can dispute on your report, and you also can apply. It gives you options for applying for credit cards to help you build your credit score. So this is a free application that you can get off of your phone, and then it gives you updates daily, credit card usage daily updates. It's a very great app, especially for you to help and build and manage your own credit without the assistance. Now, we all do need assistance, but as far as getting you started of what you need to do to build your personal credit, that's the way to start, right? There's also, the federal government gives you 1 free report, and from my understanding, they are giving out other free things, and Drea will speak on that. But the federal government gives you 1 free report a year. It's called freeannualreport.com. Did they change it?
It's just www.annualcreditreport.com. And I always tell my clients to make sure you go into the taskbar and type that in, because a lot of times people will Google it, put it in the Google or the Bing thing, and it'll come up with like freecreditreport.com, and it'll come with all different types of credit reporting agencies, and then you're paying for something that you don't have to pay for.
Absolutely. So annualcreditreport.com. Make sure you enter it in the search bar, not in the Google search. And what will happen, that same questionnaire about your information, it'll ask for your name, your address, your social, all your personal information. And then it'll go through that credit questionnaire. And the one thing about the annual report is it gives you all 3 reports. So most credited agencies that's giving you reports only give you Equifax and TransUnion. Experian is the one report that you normally don't get with the different, like Capital One Credit Monitoring or Credit Karma. But with the annual credit report, you get all 3 reports. So when you key in your information, and every report that you go to, so when you go to Equifax, you have to answer credit questions with Equifax. It'll allow you to get through the process. It'll allow you save and print your reports, and then it'll bring you out and take you to the next one, TransUnion. And you have to answer all of your reports through TransUnion. It'll take you out, answer all the questions, and then print the report. And then Experian. So that's one free reporting agency that gives you through the government that you can actually review and